super great to be on tonight. We're going to be talking about women's health services and some of the unique things that you need to keep in mind in order to really stand out in your local area. Because ultimately you want to get the respect and recognition that you deserve. And you want everybody, when they're going online and they're looking for a doctor, that all of the comments are about you, that you're the go-to that everybody is recommending. And so I'm super excited to have you guys on tonight. So just to give you guys a little bit of backstory about me. So my life before medical marketing was 15 years I spent in medical device sales and pharmaceuticals. I was actually one of the top reps in the country for NovaSure. You can see me holding my little rubber uterus there. I also launched MyoSure. So I've personally spent tons and tons and tons of days in the operating room, learning about all of the different procedures that you guys do. We being Medical Marketing Wiz is recognized as a leader in the healthcare marketing space. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we were ranked for the second year in a row, the #1 women's health marketing agency in the United States. So we've won that in 2022 and 2023. We've been in the top 10 for healthcare marketing agencies and have a whole host of other awards that we've racked up. But really, it's because of our clients. We're very selective with who we work with. We want to work with doctors that really want to stand out as that authority in their local area. And so we've been really, really lucky with the doctors that we've been able to work with. The nice thing about what I'm going to go over today, and I'm going to give you a lot of different examples of different things within your practice that you can market. But once you start implementing these strategies, it is applicable for literally everything that you do, whether you offer intimate wellness or you have hormones or you have a weight loss program or you're doing in-office hysteroscopy and ablations. These strategies work for all of the above. And our goal really is to get our doctors to be the #1 go-to women's health provider in their local area. This is a host of our doctors that offer intimate wellness. We also have a lot of doctors that are doing hormone therapy and weight loss programs and menopause management, as well as OB services as well. And so I want to talk first, okay, about the foundations of your marketing, because a mistake that I see a lot of people make is they're doing marketing 501 and they're spending money on some of the most expensive things that they can do in marketing, and they're not doing the basics. And this is why it doesn't work. So they're doing some of the right things. They're just doing them at the wrong time. So I'm first going to talk about the foundations of your marketing and what you need to do to make sure that you're relevant, that you're seen, and that when you do start trying to position yourself as an expert, you've got these foundational pieces in place. And there's really 5 main things. #1 is going to be your Google My Business listing. We have to make sure that you look good when someone Googles you. We want you to have a minimum of 50 reviews on Google. And you want your average to be 4.8, 4.9 stars. Sometimes 5 stars, people think, well, hey, there's got to be somebody that doesn't like this office. So sometimes if you have 1 or 2 bad reviews, it's not that big of a deal. It actually shows that your reviews are authentic. We want you to have what we call social media. So we'll talk to you about that. Email marketing, and then doing an event every quarter. These are the foundations. Even if you do just these things and you do them every single quarter consistently, you will really start to move the needle and get more and more patients choosing you over the other offices in the area. So I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that you can do to stand out above and beyond that. And these are all things that we have experience doing for our clients. So the first thing is we need you to get to the top of Google. And the reason is that when a woman decides to choose a gynecologist, okay, or any kind of doctor, honestly, but I feel like more specifically a women's health provider, it's a patient-doctor relationship that you have for a long time. I've personally been going to the same gynecologist for 15 years. Now, the only reason I'm going to switch gynecologists is if I move or my insurance changes and maybe she doesn't take my insurance, or If I'm having an issue that she's not really talking to me about, and I find out about somebody else that is more of an expert in my problem. And in that case, I would go and I would reach out to a new doctor. So word of mouth is still the place. I'm going to ask my friends where they go. So if I ask my friends where they go, how am I going to find your phone number? I have to go to Google. So you want to make sure that you're showing up when somebody is Googling you. And so part of the way to show up is to make sure that you have a completed profile on Google. So I'll see this all the time. It's a gynecologist that has himself listed as just doctor or medical clinic on Google. You want to make sure that you have the right category and that your listing is claimed. So if you're a gynecologist and you also do OB, I would pick OBGYN as your primary category, and then gynecologist as your secondary category, women's health clinic, pregnancy care clinic. And then if you're doing aesthetics, you might want to add some of the things like medical spa, skincare clinic, or if you're doing hormones, you might want to put alternative medicine provider. You can have up to 9 categories on Google. So for somebody to find you, you need to tell people everything that you do. The beauty of this is free for you to do. It doesn't cost you anything to optimize your Google My Business listing. You just need to know what to do. So you want your listings to be claimed also. So that means that you own your Google listing. Believe it or not, Google makes these listings and they're rogue out there, and you can have bad reviews and everything on there and people don't know it. So you want to make sure you claim your listings, and then you want to add all of your service areas and all of your services. And now if you're a woman-led business, so it looks like we've got quite a few women on the webinar tonight, you actually get a boost in Google for putting down that you're a woman-led business. So those are some things that you want to do on the back end of your Google listing. And then you want to make sure that you've got a good online reputation, meaning you don't just have like 4 or 5 reviews. You really want a minimum of 50 reviews, because all it takes is one person to leave you a bad review. If you don't have enough reviews, it tanks your overall online reputation. And you've built this reputation over the course of a lot of years, and you don't want one person to just screw it up. So one of the things that we give our clients are these cute little signs that they can put at their checkout area with a QR code where people can scan that code and it goes right straight to leave you a Google review. So you want to ask your happy people to leave your review. Google is the best place to leave reviews. Facebook recommendations would be a second. All of these other review sites, nobody's looking at them and they don't help you rank on Google. So sometimes I'll get on calls and doctors are using like doctor.com and all the reviews are on this doctor.com. Nobody goes to that site. Google is the place that you want to leave your reviews. And this is all a numbers game. So you just want to make sure that you are actively asking people. This is an easy way just at checkout to be able to do that. Okay, so I want to talk about social media and give you some ideas of ways that you can make people see you as that women's health expert on your social media. But I want to remind you that social media is supposed to be social. So if you're paying a marketing company or you have somebody at the desk spending a bunch of time making images that are stock photos that are color coded with your logo on it, it's a waste of money, because it's not helping people actually be social. And I can guarantee you're not getting very much engagement on those type of posts. So the type of things that you want to post are things with you guys in it. So one of the things that you can do actually on our website, if you want to download these signs, there's a place that you can download these for free and try them out. So our clients will take pictures with their devices. They maybe recognize employee of the month or people's birthdays. Those are posts that will get a lot of comments. The other thing is that a good piece of homework is, if you've got equipment in your office, take photos with your devices. You can see here, okay, this is an office that bought this laser, this vaginal laser, and you can see it says, very interested. They're going to call on Monday for a consultation, right? So this would not work if the doctors were not in the picture. If this was just downloading it off the company, the device company portal and putting a picture up, it's not social. This is a scroll stopper that's going to make me think, oh, wow, what did my doctor get new at their office? And I'm going to read about it and learn about it. So Social media is important. So if you're doing a newsletter, this is actually the inventor of the ThermiVa device, Dr. Red Allensad. He's the client of ours. And so he's got a newsletter that goes out every month. So we're telling people on social media, open up your email because his newsletter is in your inbox. And then marketing events, and we'll talk about events in a bit. Also doing webinars. So you can I'm live streaming our webinar right now on our Facebook page. This is something that you can do to really, do a webinar, do it on Zoom and also on social media at the same time. Okay, next foundation is your newsletter. So especially with women's health, people don't go to your office probably about once a year, maybe for their annual exam, unless they have like some small issue, right? Like they're mostly only coming to see you once a year. And even with COVID, there's people that haven't gone to their women's health doctor in 2 or 3 years because of COVID. So you want to make sure that you're staying in front of them. And if you have bought a new piece of equipment, or you went to a special training and now you know how to do a surgery that you didn't know how to do before, and you're excited to be able to start offering this service to patients, you don't want to have to wait till the person comes in a year. You want to let them know what it is that makes your office special and what's new. And so doing like a monthly email newsletter is something that really can provide a lot of value for your patients. What you don't want to do is be salesy. I'll see a lot of doctors that are doing, I'll ask them what they're doing for emails, and they'll say, yeah, I send our specials out once a month. Maybe they're doing some aesthetic services, and people don't want to feel like their doctor's selling them stuff. So every month is a health month. So you can talk about, like, this month is stress health month. So you could talk about stress during pregnancy and stress at work and ways to resolve that, and what stress does to your body and why you need to go to the doctor. Those are all things that are important, or just the importance of self-care. Those things you can put in your newsletter. This is an example during menopause month. So they're highlighting, a little bit about menopause. They've got a menopause event coming up. They're asking for reviews. And then they've got a little recipe that they're giving. And I'll tell you, these women love this recipe. It gets tons of clicks, which keeps you out of the spam folder, because you want to have engagement in your newsletter, just like social media. But we actually write these for our clients every month. But if you were to do one on your own, these are some of the things that you want to be included in that. That's going to keep you top of mind. And also, a lot of people share these newsletter articles because it has such great information in it. And then the last piece of the foundation is doing some kind of an event. So when we lay out a quarterly marketing strategy, it usually includes those 4 things: your Google listing and reviews, your email marketing, your social media, and your events. Rinse and repeat. You do this every quarter. This, out of anything you could do, is the number one thing that will book patients like that. Within 60 to 90 days, you can be fully booked for some of your procedures. So these are just a few examples of some women's health events. So this is one that they did around Mother's Day, and they have this laser device that they're doing like a ladies' night out. This is an office that brought on a new OB to the practice and wanted to help them fill their schedule. So they did an event, and then they did it in conjunction with the Evercord rep, who came in and did a little talk on cord blood banking. This is another one that I love. This gets a great turnout, is the Girlfriend's Guide to Women's Health. And you can see this doctor's talking about hormone imbalance, anti-aging treatments, women's intimate health, and bladder leakage. And then you always want to have some kind of bring a friend incentive. So this is a way for free to get new people in your practice who hang out with your best patients. People that come to your office, they hang out with people like them. And your best patients, you want more of those type of people. And so this is a great way, just kind of like, I tell people it's kind of like, if you were to test drive a car, if the car salesman can get you in that car, you're going to be a lot more likely to buy the car than if you just read about it online. So getting people to come in and meet your staff and see your practice and everything that makes you different are things that you absolutely should be doing. And this honestly should be a first step. So this is just an example. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole thing, but I do want to give you kind of a snippet of what some of these events are like if you've never done one before. Oh, whoops. Let me see. Let me see if this will work. It may not work. Let me see. There we go. So this is a group practice with 4 doctors, and they got cute little shirts. They decided to go above and beyond for that. So you can sort of see the doctors doing a little talk. You can have more of an open housey type of format, or you can have more of a seminar. So you'll see this office here. I'm going to fast forward. You can see the number of people that came to this event, and they're able to talk about their device and book appointments. And they did over, don't quote me exactly, but I want to say it was over $40,000 of pre-booked MonaLisaTouch treatments at that event. So one thing that I would love for you to do is kind of take an inventory of what you're doing right now for marketing, and maybe give yourself a score, right? So, do you have a claimed Google listing? Are you guys asking for reviews? How many reviews do you have? How social is your social media? How big is your email list? Are you doing a newsletter? Are you adding new people to your list, whether that be people coming in, or maybe you're running some ads? And then are you doing events and webinars? So if you don't have a check on all of these, it's totally fine. That's totally normal. But you can think of maybe 1 or 2 things that you could start implementing tomorrow that can help build that strong foundation for your marketing. So now I'm going to give you some of the secrets on really how to stand out and build authority so that you ultimately can be the one that everybody is talking about, and that patients are giving you great reviews. And when somebody goes to Facebook and says, hey, who's the best GYN in the area? Your name is the one that shows up. So it is a lot about, as I talked about earlier in my own decision-making process, if I were to change doctors, I have to feel like the other provider is more of an authority in the problem that I'm having. And so 75% of the time, women will go to your website and they're just going to leave, because there's absolutely no credibility on your website. So you want to add some social proof. That might be your logos, your credentialing logos, maybe an award that you've gotten. Maybe you're a center of excellence for AAGL, minimally invasive surgery. These are all things that you want to add to your website. And you're going to see instantly, like the minute those go up, you're going to start seeing more people converting into actually making an appointment, because you're showing that you're an authority. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about building authority. And then we're going to talk lastly about some ideas to stand out with patient education. And so we talked about the credentials. Okay. So one of the things that you can do tonight, once you get off the webinar, is make a list of, okay, all of your board certifications, any awards that you got. I had a doc tell me, Lori, I won Laguna Beach Best Doctor for 18 years and I never got one patient out of it. And I was like, yeah, because it's not anywhere on your website. It's nowhere on your social media. I don't see it anywhere. It's not enough to get the award. It's not enough to be, a surgeon of excellence. You want to make sure that that's in your marketing. So any local awards, any affiliation. So if you're a member of like ACOG or OGS, let's say you've got 5 stars on Google. This is something you can put on your website, or you're a BioTe provider. These are some different things that you want to add. And the goal really is you should try to get 3 awards every year. Now, if you're doing email marketing and you're doing your newsletter, and let's say your local newspaper has a vote for the best women's health provider, or the best of, you can easily send an email blast to your whole patient list, and I guarantee you're going to win. So this is why some of these pieces go together, and you want to make sure that these are things that you're considering in your marketing. One of the awards that we are submitting a lot of our clients for right now is something called the Women's Choice Award. This is actually a very prestigious award. You can Google Women's Choice Award and check it out, but it's very big for hospitals. There's over 7,000 hospitals in the United States that are certified Women's Choice Award hospitals. They go through a pretty strict credentialing process. So this is not a popularity contest. This is, they're only awarding this to the best doctors. So there's some things that they look at, such as they do look at your number of reviews. So you need to have a minimum of 50 Google reviews. And you also, they'll like make sure your medical license is valid, and they do look to make sure there's not X number of lawsuits and things like that. But What's great about this is it has national credibility in the eyes of women. And also it gets you out as that authority. So in June of this year, all of our doctors that we've submitted for this award, they are going to be in USA Today, in the June issue of USA Today, featured as one of the best doctors in the country. So this is something that you can add to your website, email blast, social media, to help you stand out as that authority. Press releases. So this is a marketing tactic that often gets forgotten, but has a huge impact on your SEO and also your authority. So press releases are something that can be sent out for a variety of things. It could be sent out, maybe you have a new location, or you have a new doctor, or you just did your, 8,000th delivery. These are things that you can put out a press release about. And these press releases get your practice and your name and your website on ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, all of their online sites, both local and national, as well as Google News, Yahoo News, and a lot of different radio stations across the country. Let me give you an example of how that looks. So this is one of our clients that did get that Women's Choice Award. And so this is a press release that we sent out. She's in Michigan. So you can see it's in Google News, the Associated Press, and it went out on the Michigan Newswire, and then all of the social media platforms. And then you can go down here and you can see, for example, this is a newspaper in the area. There's some healthcare publications. And then also you'll start seeing, like, here's a CBS station. So if you click on this, you can see that here she is on a CBS station. So there's live links in this where you can see with proof that you're getting picked up on a lot of those news outlets. The other thing I like to show, this is actually a doctor who has really leveraged his award. So you can see right below the fold of his website, he's got all of his credentials. And then if you scroll down, you can see that he's got some of the news features or publications that he's been in. So if I'm looking for a doctor that does what he does, instantly when I go to this site, I feel like he's an expert. And so this is something that's important, just to give you a little bit of context of how you can use some of those credentialing logos, awards, and press releases. All right, so we talked about building authority. And next, I want to close out with talking about education-based marketing, because I don't think anyone wants to feel like their doctor is trying to sell them something. So truly, I don't even want you to feel like you're a marketer, right? You are a professional, a medical professional, and you are constantly learning and teaching, right? You have to teach your patients about the conditions that they have. You teach residents. You teach your staff. So the better that you can teach people, the better you are actually at marketing, and you'll serve as an authority. So some different ways that you can put out educational content. One of them is being featured on a podcast. So we actually have a podcast called Top Docs. It's kind of like a spinoff of Top Gun. It is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and all the other major podcast platforms. And our doctors have the opportunity to be featured on this podcast as a guest expert, as one of the top docs. And this podcast is available. Their episode is available on Spotify and all of the major channels. So now these are logos that they can put on their website. They can send out on their e-blast. They can say, hey, did you know that Dr. Shahim is now featured on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, etc. Check out his latest episode on all the health questions you were too embarrassed to ask your gynecologist. And so it's a really cool, I'll actually show you his episode. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll show you here. So we also give our doctors a video version of their episodes. So the audio part is on the podcast, but then we actually give them the video that we can use as a webinar and an educational tool. So it can be on their website, on their social media, etc. So let me see if this will work here real quick.
When it comes to visiting the gynecologist, there are often awkward questions to ask that many women just find too embarrassing to ask. So today, with the help of board-certified obstetrician gynecologist, Dr. Abe Shahim, we'll tackle some of those questions. Welcome to Top Docs. I'm Maggie McKay. It's so good to have you here, Dr. Shahim.
So you get the idea about how those work. And it's a great educational tool. Now, you can attract new patients through this by taking that video and making it a webinar. So you can run ads, you can send out email blasts to your patients, letting them know that you've got this educational video, and then people opt in, they can watch your video, learn a little bit about you, and schedule a time for an appointment. So what I love about the whole podcast, vodcast thing is that it literally takes 15 minutes of your time in the interview. And now you've got tools that can be used forever in your marketing. So it doesn't take a lot of time and it can have a really big impact. And so you want to think about your marketing mix. It's going to be a mix of both internal marketing and external marketing. And when we lay out a plan for our clients, we ask a lot of questions. And one of the things that we want to know is, how big is your email list? How many patients are in your database? Because if they've got a good patient list, I had a call today with a doctor that has 13,000 emails of their own patients, and they're not doing any email marketing at all. And they're spending money only on external marketing, which is 25 times more expensive. So you want to make sure that you're marketing to your current list. And then yes, absolutely, you want to do some external marketing, but there's things that you can do, such as bring a friend campaigns, the press releases. I can tell you that people don't choose their gynecologist from social media, but unfortunately, what a lot of doctors think is that they need to spend all their time just doing social media, and they're not doing some of these other things that we know are the things that generate appointments a lot faster. So your mix is going to be dependent on your size of your email list and if you've been engaging with them or not. Why it's important to build your list and constantly be adding to your list is because you own that email list. If all of your followers and all of your education is only on social media, they can shut down your page at any time, which, especially with gynecology, I've seen it happen because people are posting things that are outside of the rules of Facebook and Instagram. They're talking about topics that aren't allowed, and then boom, their page is shut down, and they don't have any of those people's contact information, and they don't have an email list. So according to HubSpot, email marketing sees an average of a 3,600% ROI. That means $36 return for every $1 that you invest. And it has 10 times higher conversions in social media. So I would any day rather work with an office that has a good email list than I would somebody that has 25,000 social media followers, because most of the time those people aren't even local. So you want to build your list, and you can use social media ads to build your list, but you just need to understand that email marketing is still definitely something that will convert very, very high. So these are your current patients, right? These people, you got to make sure they know everything you do, because God forbid they don't know that you offer intimate wellness and they go to a medical spa and get it done, right? Like, you want them to come to you, but if they don't know that you offer it, then they might be going somewhere else. Your email or your Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads, these are going to be more cold leads. And then your email are the ones that are kind of in between. So it's hard to get somebody to go right straight from Instagram or Facebook to just being a patient. But this is what people's expectations are. I don't know anybody that wakes up and decides that they're going to choose their doctor on social media. It's important to do it so that you get leads, but we need to warm those people up. They need to be getting your newsletter, getting invited to your events, watching your webinars. And those are the things that will ultimately help that person turn into a patient. And so social media ads are a way that you can grow your email list. And it is much lower cost than some of the other digital things that you can do. But when you're running ads, you want to make sure that you're running ads to build your list. So it isn't, hi, you have no idea who I am, book an appointment as your call to action, right? They're not going to do that. they need to date you before they marry you. So some ways to build your list are having something like a lead magnet that you're giving away for free. So if you're offering intimate wellness and hormones, like let's run an ad so that you get people to download your book and then they get invited to watch your webinar. So these are some of the things that you can do to really stand out, grow your list, and not break the bank. Direct mail is still a great way to get in front of people, because even with the best email campaign, maybe half of the people open the email. So good old-fashioned mail works really, really well. And this is just an example here. This is a doctor that is offering an intimate wellness procedure. And so it's written in a way that is not offensive to the person. You're not saying, hey, do you have this problem? It's, hey, we have a lot of patients that have this problem. So we're committed to staying on top of the latest advancements in women's health. And we're always looking for the most cutting edge, safest, and effective solutions for our patients. We spent several months researching different treatment options. So they know you did your homework. And this is why we decided that this device was going to be something we wanted to offer to our patients. And this is what it does. And then you can offer to have them come in for an appointment. We'll also see offices do things like Mother's Day, holidays. They'll send out maybe like a gift card. And again, this depends on what type of practice that you have. But this exact example here generated 104 patient visits. It did cost them some money to send out the campaign, but this is a pretty good ROI for a $4,000 campaign cost. So letters still stand out, but just, I would send it as a letter, not a glossy, because that's something that will go in the garbage. And then maintenance treatment reminders are other things you just want to make sure that you're doing. So if you have somebody that is doing intimate wellness or EmSella, they do need to come in to maintain their results. So having a system in place to make sure that those folks can come in and keep the treatment, keep all of the benefits of that treatment are things that are important. But again, sometimes often forgotten things that they do. These people they already believe in the treatment. They already paid for it. They already like you as a provider. Just make sure that they get in to maintain their results. We do this every quarter. We just send out, hey, who's on their 1-year anniversary? Let's go ahead and get them a reminder to come back in. And this is just a simple way that you can use email and text to do that. So just to give you kind of some context on the potential that you have implementing some of the strategies that I went over with you. So let's say you offer a product that solves genitourinary symptom of menopause. So if you've got 50% of the patients at your practice are, I'm sorry, I want to go back and explain this. The studies out there show that there's 50% of women that are between these ages that have this problem. Okay. So let's say you have 1,000 women at your practice. And we know that half of them are going to have this problem. So that's 500 people. Let's say just 10% of them get the treatment from you. So only 50 out of the 500, if you're charging the national average price for a package, you're generating over $100,000 in revenue. And then you can triple or quadruple those numbers because you have 450 women that know you offer the treatment. Maybe they just aren't ready yet. They have the problem. Plus, you also have the patients that are going to come in for their yearly maintenance treatment and tell their friends about it. So you don't necessarily have to have thousands and thousands of people getting these things done. You just need to do the education and make sure that your patients know that it's available. So there's a few case studies in here. I won't go through all of these. You guys can check them out in the replay, but these are doctors that we've implemented these strategies for. So this is one of our clients that has done over 6 figures of Mona Lisa in their first 12 months, plus continue to build their leads list. This is an office where we partnered with the reps from Axonics and were able to do a webinar, and they booked 22 procedures after that webinar. And then another doctor that's doing the treatment for urinary incontinence. And then, so for you, just want you to think about, I went over a lot. This is not all stuff that you need to do all of it. But hopefully you can take away 1 or 2 ideas of things that you can start to implement in your practice right away to help you stand out as that go-to expert. I do want to help to kind of prioritize what are the things that are the most important for you to do. Okay. This here is kind of like where you're at right now. So if right now you're getting less than 10 leads per month to your practice, new patient inquiries, the things that are going to move the needle within only 90 days are these things here. So your maintenance treatment reminders, your event. So doing an event, doing email marketing every month, getting patients and or doctors to refer people, and direct mail. The longer term strategies, social media ads, is going to take time to get people to convert. Getting the awards, doing the podcast, this is kind of like that middle of the funnel educational piece. And then these are your long-term things. The problem is that I see people like organic social and they're spending money on SEO and they're not doing some of these short-term things. These are things that just take a long time to actually turn into a patient. So depending on where you're at, you'll see it's still always the heaviest in these short-term 90-day strategies. So I think this is just important to realize that sometimes we can get caught up on social media being the be all end all. It is important, but it's the thing that is going to take the longest to actually turn somebody into a patient. All right, so this just gives you a really quick snapshot of what an example 4-quarter strategy would be for your marketing. And it's kind of like what I talked about at the beginning. So you've got your social media, you got your newsletter, you've got your Google My Business, which is your reviews and your local SEO. So your Google My Business listing, you're getting an award, you're getting people to come in for their maintenance treatments, and you're doing an event. Then the next quarter, this is just an example. Maybe you don't want to do an event, so you're going to do more of an online event or you're going to be on a podcast. But all of the other things are the same things that you do here. Then the next quarter, it's September, it's menopause month. You want to do an event for menopause because you're offering things that can help menopausal women. And then maybe you're doing some urinary incontinence, or maybe you're doing aesthetics. You want to do some sort of holiday event. But it really is as simple as that. It's just consistency and having a plan that we know that absolutely 100% this is going to bring in procedures because we're doing some of those things that we know will result in procedures in a short amount of time. All right, so that kind of sums up what I want to go over tonight. I did want to tell you guys about the gift that we have for everybody that is registered. So we are actually giving away a free month of social media marketing with our social media wizard. So what this is this is actually a social media scheduling tool that can post to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Google My Business. You can schedule your entire month of social media content in under 5 minutes. So it's beautiful. It saves you a ton of time, and it has all of our best women's health posts. So literally every women's health subject. We have OB, we have minimally invasive surgery. We have all of the marketing portals for all of the medical device companies. So whether it's Hologic or Axonics or Cynosure or InMode, all of those devices. Their content is already loaded in here. So the copy, the hashtags, everything is in here, and you just drag and drop into your schedule. And in 5 minutes, your whole entire month of social media is done. So in order to claim that, we will give you 30 days free of this. You do need to schedule a strategy call, and then we can get you onboarded with that and get you access. So on the social media or on the strategy call, we're going to look at your social media. We'll give you some tips on that. We'll look at your Google listing. We'll give you tips on that. So this is really where you can get some specifics about what we would recommend for your practice. So hopefully you guys took away 1 or 2 nuggets that you can start to implement right away, and happy for you to get on, and hope to talk to you guys soon. All right, take care.